Alright, so here is our worker. I'm going to show you guys how to get Mocap data imported and associated with it. A couple things real quick. At the very bottom, it's probably a little hard to see here. We do have a couple locators here. This first locator that we get just by clicking here is going to be the control reference, and we can move our character around. We can scale him up and down. We can rotate him and so forth. So it's like that world control. So if we want to make him squat or something, we would do something like that. But this little locator here at the bottom is what allows us to do just like move things around in general. So if he needs to go up the stairs or he needs to walk in a direction or something like that, that would be a good way to go about it. Okay, so we want to get Mocap data in here on this though. So what's going to happen when we get the Mocap data on here? We're actually going to want to, it's going to actually switch to reference, and so it's going to utilize that. These little extra hand rigs that I've created here are actually going to cause some problems when we switch over. And so it's nice to be able to use this double arrow here to switch from our control reference to our reference. And so here you can see the arrow is in control reference, which is great because there's no Mocap data. But when we get Mocap data on, we're just going to want to move that over. And then you can see as we do, it changes to reference. So we can just slide it back and forth from control reference over to reference. So, and it's locked. It can only go a certain distance. So you just slide it back and forth. So right now I'm going to keep it in control reference. Let's go ahead and get some Mocap data in here now. So the way we want to do this is we want to go file and import. Let's import the Mocap data. And so we have this data. Going pretty fast. Let me slow that down. So we've got that. And so now we can see that there's that Mocap data, right? Okay, cool. So what we need to do is we need to select the root, okay? Or as it's called here, the hips. And we want to run, I'm going to click the script editor button. We want to run this little bit of code. So you could just type that in there and then highlight it and then click this little play button. Okay, I've already made a button for myself, right, with that same code. So I'm just going to click that button. And then what we want to do is we want to select all the keyed stuff, and we're going to right click and go to break connection. And then we're going to get all the rotation stuff, and we're just going to zero that out. And that's going to bring that data, that rig that came with it, into a T-pose, which is what we want. We need this to help create another IK that we can transfer over to the IK that our guy has. So making sure we're in our rigging menu, let's go to skeleton, human IK. I already had it over here, but yeah. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to click off everything and then just click on my root. And then here I want to set this to none. And with my root selected, I'm going to go to create control rig. And I'm going to go to define. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the head. I'm going to click on the head. Double click the arm. Click on the arm. Double click the forearm. Click on the forearm. And you can see as I'm doing this to the left side, it's automatically doing it to the right side. Double click the hand. Click the little hand joint. Spine 1. Hips. Leg. Our shin and calf, and then our foot. And cool. This is all set up, and it's created a character 1, and now we have a character 1 human IK. So from here, we're going to go to File and Import. We're just going to re-import that same thing, and it's going to put the data back on it. And so now we can see we've got that data back on it. Okay, cool. Now for our guy. Okay, so we want to get out of the character 1. We want to go back to our guy. So I'm going to change that back to the quick character rig. And from here, in the quick character rig, I'm going to go to the source that is character 1. Okay, cool. Now he's off the ground a little bit, so I'm going to click on that. You can see, if I pull this down, not a lot's going to happen, right? We're actually going to need to use our reference controller to be able to pull things down. So that's kind of what I meant when I said things kind of switch. So the control reference, when he's just in normal mode, the control reference controls things. At this point, the reference is going to control things. So I'm just going to pull him a little closer to the ground. Then I'm going to go ahead and push this over. Now the reference is in charge. I'm just going to push that over to where that says reference. And now, if we needed to scale things down or up, we'll be good. Again, the problem is if that is not on reference, you can see that it's going to give us some problems and we're going to get giant fingers. So we just want to, or giant controllers and stuff like that. It's just going to cause us some problems. So this little switch just helps once we get some data on here. We can just pull that over to where that says reference. Okay, so at this point, check out what we got. And maybe we could actually pull that up. Looks like it's going through the ground a little bit. But point being, we now have that. Those little joints in the background are kind of playing with me a little bit. So I'm looking for joints. I'm just going to turn that off. And yeah, we'll pull them back up a little bit. There we go. And so then we do have these little controllers on our fingers. So let's see. Let's go back here. You know, maybe somewhere around here. Oops. Turn all that off so I can only select curves. Try that again. So maybe around here I want like a closed fist. Maybe something like that. So we'll have like a closed fist all the way through here. And then here, this hand opens back up. Oh, the fingers are doing something weird in there. Again. So isn't that kind of like on deselect or something? It's on. So let's select all that. Go about frame 90 or so, set a key, and then right around there, I just want to deselect the thumb. Yeah, there we go. We'll just rotate his fingers open, set a key, rotate his thumb open, set a key. And I'm not going to do a lot of work here. I just wanted to show you that we can do some of our own little animations to things like hands on top of things. So as you can see, he's got a little fist in that left hand there, and then he can open the hand. So yeah, this is essentially mocap data. We've got that in there, and there is a little bit of gimbal stuff that happens on this particular animation from time to time. If something like that happens and we need to adjust it, we can adjust things here. We just want to There's some chatty people on Discord right now, and looks like that's all Rebelway people. Okay. We'll go to right here. So this is key stuff. So we could go in here and get in specifically at certain keyframes, like that spike. If that was an issue, we could, you know, do some stuff. We could delete keyframes, or we could, you know, use some of these tools to scale them down and so forth. So, anyways, yeah, I hope that helps.